So, parallel and perpendicular lines. Someone tell me what a parallel line is. Say that again. Two lines that never touch each other. So I want everyone to do this with their hands. So if two lines are never going to touch each other, when I go like this, what am I changing? Think of these as lines. What is the slant of a line called? Changing the slope. So if two lines never intersect, their slopes are always going to be the same. Okay, so I think that we have some things that we want to write down. So we know that parallel lines it is never intersect because they have the same what? Yes. Because they have the same slope. So parallel lines always have the same slope. What is something that you guys know about a perpendicular line? So they intersect. If I were to do this, am I showing perpendicular lines because these intersect? Are these perpendicular? Let me draw them. If I were to draw a line that went like this is a horizontal line, y equals, let's say that this is the line y equals 2. And then I were to draw a line like this. This is y equals, we're going to say 2x plus 1. Are those two lines perpendicular? Why not, Kellen? Do they just not look perpendicular?
Don't perpendicular lines don't they intersect at 90 degrees or something?
Yes, they intersect at 90 degrees. That's exactly correct. So if they were perpendicular, what do we do to show that a triangle is 90 degrees? Has a square. So perpendicular lines intersect at 90 degrees or form right angles. So that's what we're going to write about perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines intersect to form right angles. And I'm going to say 90 degrees kind of in parentheses. So those are two things that we know about these types of lines. So I had you skip the last two questions in part 2 of our homework because we hadn't talked about parallel lines yet, and we definitely hadn't talked about perpendicular lines. So we're going to look at this first. Did everybody get that note? Those two notes up there about parallel lines and perpendicular lines? Okay. So we're going to write these equations in both standard form and slope-intercept form. Someone tell me what this form is right here. How's that equation written? That is not written in y equals mx plus b. No, that's what y equals mx plus b is. You only know 3 types of equations. We know y equals mx plus b, which is called slope-intercept. We know ax plus by equals c, which is standard form, and we know that form. What's the other form that you've learned? I would look at my notes. Point slope. This is in point slope form. I didn't hear you say it if you did. We have been working with point slope for at least 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to take this equation, y plus 2 equals -3 times the quantity x minus 5, and I'm going to make it look like this. How am I going to do that? Say that? Yeah, I'm going to distribute. I have to take -3 times x and -3 times -5. So I have y plus 2 equals Negative 3 times x is just negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15. Okay, we're close. We're almost y equals. What do I need to do now? Subtract the 2 from the 15, yeah. So that gives me y equals negative 3x plus 13. So this is the same equation as that. They're the same line. They're just written differently, but it's the same line. Okay? Does that make sense? Clear as mud? Okay? Yeah. So now let's take this equation, y plus 2 equals negative 3 times the quantity x minus 5, and I need it to look like this. That's what standard form is. I need it to look like that. So, what are your thoughts?
I'm assuming the D is where you put 15 in the other situation.
We need to distribute first so we can start moving stuff. So let's do that.
I'm just asking you what is the B representing?
The b is the number attached to the y,
And the A is
and the number, the coefficient of the y and the coefficient of the x. So when I distribute, I have the same thing that I did on the first step of the last one, negative 3x plus 15. So with standard form, I have to have my x and my y terms on the left and my constant on the right. So how do I get the x term and the y term on the left and the constants on the right? What do I need to do? So this guy has got to move over here on this side. And this has got to move over here. So what do you want to do? You want to subtract 2 first? Okay. So y equals negative 3x plus 13. Add the 3x on both sides. So 3x plus 1y equals 13. Is this in standard form?
Ms. Bishop, I have a question.
Yeah.
Does it matter, like, which one you do first?
No, I would have added the 3x first because I always like to try to get the x and the y on the same side before I do anything else. But no, it doesn't matter. Do you guys remember what does matter about standard form? There were 2 very special things about standard form. What's Gavin Kane? What's one special thing about standard form that you remember or you're going to look back to your notes and tell me about? One special thing. Aiden, you look for the other one. Think about when we did standard form. What's something special you know about standard form? Look back in your notes if you need to. I can tell you right now that it's like on the 3rd page of your packet. The 3rd page of your packet. It says standard form of a linear equation. X and Y intercepts. What's one thing that we know about standard form? Because this is important.
Y equals 0.
That's intercepts. What do we know about A, B, and C? Can they be decimals?
They're not fractions or that.
They're not fractions or decimals. They're integers. Good job. A, B, and C are integers. That means that they're whole numbers, but they could have a sign in front of it. But there's something really special about A. What do we know about A? Not only are A, B, and C integers, but A must be what? Yes. Was that you, Eli? It was originally Brody. He whispered it and you seconded that. Yeah, A must be positive. Those are 2. That's the whole specification about standard form. It's important. I would make sure that I know that. So we said that parallel lines never intersect. And we said perpendicular lines intersect to form right angles. So parallel lines never intersect and perpendicular lines do intersect to make right angles. The symbol for parallel lines looks like the number 11, but it's actually just two lines, straight lines right next to each other. It's like this. It's just two straight lines up and down. Okay. The symbol for perpendicular is an upside down capital T. And when we see perpendicular lines, we see that there's a little box where the perpendicular lines intersect. Okay. What did we say about the slopes of parallel lines? The slopes are the same.
Is that an 11?
No, it's two lines right next to each other. I know it looks like an 11,
Oh,
but it's just two straight lines going up and down.
okay. Sorry.
That's all right. So for parallel lines, the slopes are the same. For perpendicular lines, the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So when I say opposite, I'm talking about the sign. And when I say reciprocals, I'm talking about the flip of the fraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to reciprocate. You just like take that fraction and you stand it on its head, right? So you have to do two things. You have to change the sign and stand the fraction on its head. So we're going to draw. I'm going to start with a line. I'm going to start with the line y equals 2x plus 2. I would like everyone to graph that line. Y equals 2x plus 2. So I'm going to begin at 2. And then what's my slope?
2 over 1.
Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So I'm going to draw that line. And I'm going to label it. Y equals 2x plus 2. If I wanted to make a line that was parallel to this line, that goes through the point 2, 0. It's parallel to this line and passes through the point 2, 0. How am I going to do that? What do we know about this line right here? What do you know about it? What do we need to know for parallel lines? We need to know the slope. So what is the slope of this line? M equals 2, or 2 over 1. So could I start at this point right here, which is that point, and then count my slope? Wouldn't that guarantee that the lines were parallel and passed the point 2, 0? So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. You guys have already been doing this. You guys have already been graphing a line, given a point, and the slope. You guys have been doing that. Here, the only difference is you have to know, if it's parallel, you have to figure out what the slope is. You have to know that parallel lines have the same slope. Okay? Now let's do this same thing. I'm going to graph the same line, y equals 2x plus 2, on the next one. Y equals 2x plus 2. So begin at 2, go up 2 over 1. But we're going to graph a line that's perpendicular and passes through the point 2, 0. So for the last one, we did parallel. Now I want it to be perpendicular. So again, what do we know about this line? The slope is 2/1. So if I want to do perpendicular slope, what does the perpendicular slope have to be? -1/2. Opposite, change the sign. Reciprocal, flip it. So can't I do the same thing? Begin at this point. So I'm going to begin at the point 2, 0. But instead of going up 2/1, I'm now going to go down 1/2. Down 1/2. Down 1/2. And when I connect those points, I see that I now have created 2 perpendicular lines. God bless you. So I'm going to put that little X, or box, sorry, in the middle. I'm going to draw that little box. Okay. Are we good with that? So now we're going to write perpendicular lines for the line that passes through. Now we're going to like follow some steps, right? So this is where it kind of gets a little crazy. So the first thing that we want to do is put this equation in slope-intercept form so we can figure out what the slope is. So how are we going to do that? Yeah, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. You're exactly right. Minus 2x. Because I need this to look like y equals. So when I subtract 2x from both sides, I have 3y equals -2x plus 12. It almost says y equals. Not quite, but almost. What do I need to do last, Corbett? What's the last step to get y all by itself? Divide by 3, yeah. Every stinking term. Everything gets divided by 3. So 3y divided by 3 is just y. -2 divided by 3 is just that, -2/3. Attach your x to it, because that's your slope. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So this is all about, this whole activity is all about slope. So what's the slope of this first line? -2/3. So what is the perpendicular slope going to be? So remember what we said about perpendicular slope. It's the opposite, which is the sign, reciprocal. So opposite is the sign and flip it. So what is the sign of that right there? It's going to be 3/2. Yes. I heard you, Kane. You were right. Okay. So it's going to pass through this point. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start here, and then we're going to count our slope. So let's find the point -4, +6. And from there, what is my slope? Okay. So I'm trying to write an equation that passes through this point and it's perpendicular. So I have to figure out where this crosses the what? The y-axis. So if I plot the point, this is the point -4, 6. I go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Oh, sorry, I'm not going down. I'm going up. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Can I do it again? Up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. Or I can go down 1, 2, 3 into the left. 1, 2. So this is what the perpendicular line looks like, but I need to write an equation for it. And I don't see where it passes the y-axis. I kind of see, but I don't exactly see because it's off the graph. So What do you do when you only know the slope and 1 point, but it's not the y-intercept? I only know a point, and it's not the y-intercept. That sounds like I know the point and I know the slope. What kind of a line is that? I know the point and I know the slope. What's that called? Point slope. Y minus the y coordinate. What's our y coordinate in this ordered pair? 6 equals my slope, 3/2 times the quantity x minus the x coordinate, minus -4. Do we write minus -4? It would be plus. Yes. All right. It asks us to put this in slope-intercept form. Is this in slope-intercept form yet? No? We'll skip it and do the next one that way. Okay. So here's my equation, y equals -5. Can everybody graph that line for me? Graph the line y equals -5.
Is that the perfectly straight?
No. Graph it, y equals -5. What kind of a line is that? It's a horizontal line. -5 on the y-axis. So this is the line y equals -5. What kind of line is going to be perpendicular to that? A vertical line. Okay. So if y equals -5 is a horizontal line, what is the slope of it right now? The slope is 0. The perpendicular slope to 0 is undefined, and it's going to be a vertical line. And this vertical line has to pass through the point 5,3. So I'm just going to plot that point so you can see where that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So what equation to a vertical line is going to pass through that point 5,3? What do we know about vertical equations? Gavin Kane, are you taking notes or are you taking a nap? What do we know about vertical equations? The slope is undefined. What does a vertical equation look like?
Vertical equation would be to have x.
Yeah, it's x equals a number. What is the only ordered pair, like the only x coordinate in that ordered pair? 5. So it's got to be the equation x equals 5. So if I were to graph the line x equals 5, that's right here, and it's definitely perpendicular because horizontal and vertical lines are perpendicular. So the only trick to dealing with parallel and perpendicular lines is being able to identify the slope. That's what you need first. Let's look at this next example. Oh, you're not done? Okay. No, I'm sorry. Okay. What is the slope of the equation y minus 4 equals 3/2 x plus 5? What's that slope? 3/2. Who said that? Good job, 3/2. Explain to me how you determined that the slope of that line was 3/2. It's in point slope form. So this is my slope. Okay. So if I write an equation to a line that's going to be perpendicular to this, what is my perpendicular slope? -2/3. Was that you, Daniel? Awesome job, sir. -2/3. And it passes through this point. So I know the point that it's going to pass through. And I know the perpendicular slope, which is -2/3. Can I write an equation for that? Your crickets. That's it. You think so? Yes? What's it going to look like, Antoine? Y minus, I'll write the parent form. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. You tell me what to put in there. Y minus what? Awesome. Y minus 5 times the quantity. Awesome. Okay, is this in slope-intercept form? No. Can we put it in slope-intercept form? Yes, I heard someone say distribute before I even asked, can we do this? So let's see, I have y minus 5 equals -2/3 times x is -2/3 x. -2/3 times -2/1. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 1 is 3. We're almost there. Almost. What do I have to do now? What do I have to do next? I'm going to add 5, which is the same thing as not 5/3. What is that the same thing as? I need a denominator of what? 3. What do I have to do to this to make it have a denominator of 3? Multiply by 3. So 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 times 3 is 3. So I end up with y equals -2/3 x plus 19/3. If you guys forget about that, remember you get to use a calculator, okay? In your calculator, just use the parenthesis 4 divided by 3, close your parenthesis, plus 5. So who's got a calculator? 4 divided by 3 in the parenthesis, plus 5. Parenthesis, 4 divided by 3, close parenthesis, plus 5. Parenthesis, 4 divided by 3, close parenthesis, plus 5. And then I want you to hit the math button and turn that into a fraction. Just do plus 5. I want you to see, like, so 4 divided by 3 in a parenthesis. What? Yeah, it's 19/3. 4 divided by 3 in your parenthesis, plus 5. Turn your answer to a fraction by hitting the math button. Get it? Parenthesis plus 5. Okay, and then hit the math. Yes, I'm on a fraction. Enter. There you go. You see that? Does everyone see how to do that? So you guys are getting caught up on like, oh my God, I don't know how to add a fraction to a whole number. Let your calculator do that for you. Okay, that's why we have them. All right. We're going to do another one that's perpendicular. Perpendicular. And it's perpendicular to this. What kind of a line is that? X equals 4. It's a vertical line. So perpendicular to a vertical line is what? A horizontal. I know that the vertical lines have undefined slope. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0. I know vertical lines are x equals. Horizontal lines are y equals some number. What is the only number that y can equal from that point? Has to be 0, yeah. Okay. So here's what we have for homework. We're going to do some creative canceling out. So I want you to do, we're going to just circle the problems that I want you to do. Okay. I want you to do number 1. All you're doing is finding the slope. Number 3. Number 5, 6, 7. And number 9 on that front page. So let me circle that in my answer key. Nope, I've got another page for you. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's 5 questions. 9. And 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Those are the ones we're doing, right?
Yeah, those are the ones that you're doing. Flip it over. Do 1, 2, 4, and 5, just because I want to make sure you understand that. 1, 2, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 4, and 5. So that's 11. And then on the back, seven, 8, 10, 11. You can. So 11, 12, 13. That's 15 questions. 15 questions total. Yep. Yes, Tessa. So do you guys need an extra day on your packets before I walk through and check them? Okay, if you have questions about it, I would ask me while I'm walking around. You have like 35 minutes. Ask questions for everything. 7, 8. On that backside, you're doing 7, 8, 10, and 11. 7, 8, 10, 11. What do you got? You have it. As soon as Tessie gets back. You have an H. You got a hand up too. Right, put it open. Can you wait till he comes back? Is that Mr. Bischoff? Do you guys care if I turn the light back on? I need to have the other class do different problems.
May I relocate?
To where? No. How about this? You can relocate there if you can work there. So I'll let it be your choice. If you can work productively, if you just start being a turd, then I'm going to move you back. Okay.
Yeah, whenever the substitute was here, he sat here.
I left him a note that you guys have a seating chart, but that it's totally his discretion to let you move where you want.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
This is like last shot.
He didn't want to?
No.
Okay.
I was like, she let me do it.
How many of you guys are taking the PACT tomorrow?
All of us who are.
Okay, is it still going to be taking place during this time?
I think so.
I think it is too.
I don't even know when it is.
Okay, here's what I think. Listen up. So third block tomorrow is from 11:35 to 1:40, but that's where your lunches are. So your lunches for you guys are going to be at 11:35. So I think that you guys are still testing until periods 1, 2, and 3. And it's all of the sophomores in here. So raise your hand if you're a sophomore again. That's all right. I just don't have your guys' grades. 8. And here,
There's only 3 freshmen. I didn't know that.
Dakota. Eden. Okay, I think I got you guys. So, King, you're a sophomore?
Yeah.
Okay. Gavin, freshman? Freshman, sophomore? Antoine, freshman? I should have just done it that way. Brody?
Sophomore.
Eli?
Sophomore.
Corbett?
Sophomore.
Why did I not know that? Eric? Freshman? Abigail, freshman? Daniel, are you sophomore or freshman? Okay. Kellen?
Freshman.
Tessa? Is Tessa a sophomore? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, tomorrow we're going to do more parallel and perpendicular line notes. So,
So we have this tomorrow.
you guys should get done with your homework today in class. I'll make a video so you can watch it tonight if you want.
I'll watch it.
Okay, I'll put a video up there before I leave today. Give me until 4 o'clock, okay? And then so do you all know where you're testing?
Check your email. I'm 611, 600 on the dot.
Room 600, which is upstairs. Yeah, because I walked around today trying to find room 617, thinking it was downstairs. Miss Caitlin, Gavin is talking to you.
611 is what's
So Daniel, check your email so you can see where you're testing, sir.
Her work was so easy. Maybe you do your mem bean and then like some easy assignment. But this should actually. Well, no. And then you test out. Did we search? Yeah. We searched like 5 people. It was. No, I know they searched like 20.
I'm coming right over, sir.
People are idiots. Where did I get them?
Yeah.
You can get them from Atlantic Beach Surf Shop or
Are they comfortable?
Yeah, they're really comfortable. These are limited edition though.
So it's slow. Your lines have the same, so whatever this is.
Oh,
it's the same.
yeah.
Once they start following
Same
this,
slope. So this is your M.
you get first place.
So your tie, can I borrow your pencil and just do it? So right, let's slope with the line in question. Parallel. Here, for this one, you're gonna have to make it so it's like. I live in Swansboro. Oh, do they? What are they? Are they big dudes? I've seen them before, but I've seen them that they look plain and kind of manly. You know what I mean? 'Cause I think that they look super comfortable, but I don't want them to look like dude shoes. I want them to look like.
EJW has a good selection of them. And Atlantic Beach Surf Shop has a bunch of them. I ran through so many spiderwebs. I counted them all. I ended up running 72. Spiderwebs. When I was on my yellow.
So, what do you know about parallel
I'm
lines?
in an orange house, so I'm gonna run through a lot more.
What does it say about that?
I'm like, so
Here's the symbol, parallel lines have.
you don't have to run. Basically, I run, find my point, I run, jog, light jog, run, light jog, run. Then when I get to the horse, I You also have a water fountain, moisture, I make sure to bring the red cheese.
Okay, so for here, you have to put it in white. You have to solve for y first.
Tessa, what did you say was the matter this morning? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yesterday,